Look who's joining us now. It's Craig Button from his spacious home in Calgary. Craig, kind of a tale of two goalies in some ways. Stuart Skinner pulled after 2 periods in favor of Calvin Pickard. Struggled in this one. Curious to get your thoughts on him. And then Silovs, Craig, just incredible on the road in this one. The Canucks definitely have themselves a Latvian star.
Well, I mean, he was the MVP of the World Championships last year. Bottom line, when you look at Arturs Silovs, is he was excellent in Game 2. Edmonton would have won that game by 6 or 7 goals if it wasn't for him. And he was excellent again in Game 3. But, I mean, he's no stranger to the spotlight. He's no stranger to the pressures. And he's responded in kind. And certainly when you have the ability to find a way to make saves, and sometimes, Jay, you got to just throw form out the window. And that's exactly what Silovs has done at different times in these playoffs. And that's sometimes what you have to do. Goaltenders want to be technically sound, but there are going to come times when you just got to find a way to make the save. And Silovs has done that time and time again. And certainly the way the Vancouver Canucks were playing rope-a-dope in that third period, Silovs was going to have to be the one that was going to have to absorb a lot of blows. And he took the blows and allowed his team to emerge with the victory. On the other hand, Stuart Skinner, you can look at 2 power play goals. You can say, well, you know, like how much can you blame him? I mean, there were some giveaways and certain not. But Silovs at the other end is making the saves and finding a way to keep the puck out of the net. And at the other end, Stuart Skinner isn't. So when you're sitting here and you've got a goaltender, and I don't think you can just put this all on Stuart Skinner, but at the same time, you know, you got to find a way to make a save. This is what the playoffs are about. And certainly, it's not like some of these shots were unstoppable. You got to look at what you could have done better to make a save. And that's where it gets to at this point in the season. It's not about, oh, yeah, he should have had that one. Those are obvious. But on the ones that are in that gray area where you say, okay, it went in, okay, that's a pretty good shot, goaltenders have to find a way to be better. And that's where Stuart Skinner finds himself now. He has to find a way to be better. It's not that he's been terrible. I know everybody's going to look at the save percentage and everything like that. I'm looking at the specific shots. I'm looking at the Brock Besser, his second goal, the third goal, the first period. I mean, you got a goaltender sitting back on his goal line. He's kind of back on the net, and now Besser has net to work with. And certainly that's one, he's got to be better there. And that's where the Edmonton Oilers find themselves. 1 goal short in a series where the Vancouver Canucks have proven to be a real difficult out. Now, I will say this. If the Vancouver Canucks want to continue to play rope-a-dope against the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think it's a recipe for success. And if you want to keep turning back to the goaltender, in this case Arturs Silovs, and have him bail you out, I guess you can say we've had success with that. But I don't think it's a recipe for success.
Well, let's stay with the Oilers for just a second, Craig. The success with the man advantage, it's been well documented. You and I have talked about it, how terrific they are on the power play. Even strength, though, any level of concern that the Oilers stars aren't necessarily scoring at even strength the way, obviously, Chris Knoblauch would like them to.
Why don't we just put this all to bed right now, Jay? There is no problem with the Edmonton Oilers stars. None whatsoever. Whether they get 4 points like they did in Game 2 or they come a little bit short in Game 3, the bottom line for the Edmonton Oilers, they're getting basically zipped from about 10 players. Basically zipped. And I don't even know why they have a third and fourth line. That's 6 forwards. You get to the second line, that's another forward or 2. You're going to win games with 7 forwards not giving you very much and basically giving you nothing? Sorry, ain't happening. You can keep turning to McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman until the cows come home. At the end of the day, the Edmonton Oilers are getting zipped, nada, nothing from too many players. And that's not a recipe for success either, Jay. So let's stop pointing to the stars. They're not the problem for the Edmonton Oilers. It's about 7 or 8 other forwards that are giving them nothing.
Let's talk about Elias Lindholm now, because Craig, you and I both know when he joined the Canucks in a trade from Calgary this regular season, it was a bit of a bumpy ride through a lot of the regular season for Lindholm with the Canucks. trying to find his way. Man, he looked so terrific in Game 3, didn't he? I mean, what are your thoughts on his play so far in this series?
Listen, from Game 1 of the playoff series versus Nashville, Elias Lindholm has been very good.
Yep.
He gets goals 4 and 5 in this one. Scored a winning goal in Nashville in that great comeback win. But for Elias Lindholm, the face-offs, the ability to carry play. I just talked about the Edmonton Oilers getting nothing from about 7 forwards. Not the case with the Vancouver Canucks. And Elias Lindholm has been instrumental, not only in the first round series win versus Nashville, but certainly now with the Vancouver Canucks up 2-1. Takes some of the pressure, certainly takes pressure off of JT Miller. The biggest thing that the Vancouver Canucks were looking for with the addition of Elias Lindholm was to give them some depth in the center ice position, to give them an ability to have a little bit more scoring, a little bit more defensive prowess. And whether Elias Lindholm had a bumpy road during the regular season after his acquisition by the Vancouver Canucks, he's found his game here in the playoffs. And that's the most important thing for the Vancouver Canucks. And right now, you look at him, you look at some of the moves that Rick Tocchet made, changing some of the players out and putting some other players in. But the constants for the Vancouver Canucks are delivering.
Man, it was a fun game to watch. I'll say that. Game 4 will be Tuesday night in Edmonton. Craig Button, thank you so much for this. Here we go. Look at this. Canucks teammates with multiple goals in the same playoff game over the last 30 years. Not too many of them. Not too many of them. And Brock Besser with 2 goals against Edmonton in Game 3. Elias Lindholm, 2 goals in Game 3. Pull it off on Sunday night.